Just figured to go live so we could go over some trends happening in 2025. Specifically, let's see what we're titling this today: 9 Uplifting Trends Shaping Global Christianity in 2025. And so we're just going to wait until we get a couple people on here just so we can move forward with today. Just drop where you're watching from and, you know, just say hi and all that good stuff. We'll start soon. So I see how the stream is going. All right, looks like we're on YouTube. Tell us where you're watching from too. It's not. Do, 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 do. Somewhere over the rainbow. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh, it's not even letting me click on it. That's weird. I think it needs to get like a buffer together. Who knows? Mm-hmm. 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 All right, looks like it's okay. So I could see we're live on the YouTube. Cool. I don't know why it always does 720 for automatic. Okay. Cool. My wife's trying to talk to me from the other room. Let me just text her quick saying I'm live. All right, cool. So let's move forward here. So, for all you that are watching now, we're going to be talking about the 9 encouraging trends for global Christianity in 2025. All right, so let's look at this a little bigger. Cool. Like that. All right, so I decided to do this. Let me go back. So I decided to do this because, it's really cool and it's encouraging to see, what's happening in Christianity today as it pertains to, what we think is happening versus what's really happening. Being in this, I hate to say religion, but it is a well-known religion. It's encouraging to see these facts based on at least this one research thing. So let's watch this. Read this together. Actually, let me get this a little bigger. Cool. All right. So when we expand our vision, we can see several trends in global Christianity in 2025 that give us good news about the kingdom of God. And these written by Aaron Errols. The perspective and vantage point of most Christians is limited. We can often only see how God is moving and working in our local congregations and among those around us. Depending on the circumstances, that can be discouraging. It can. When we expand our vision globally with a 2025 report from the Center for the Study of Global Christianity at Gordon Conwell Theological Seminary, we can see several trends that give us good news about the kingdom of God. Many of these continue encouraging trends. Many of these continue encouraging trends from 2025. Okay, so they're saying that it's coming stemming from 2025, 2024. Things are happening. Um, and number one on this list is Christianity is growing. Regardless of what we may expect, Christianity continues to grow around the world. Currently, there are more than 2.64 billion Christians. Yay, God. Christianity crossed the 2 billion mark this century, but will top 3 billion before 2050. The world's population, at just over 8 billion, has a 0.88 annual growth rate, but Christianity is growing at a rate of 0.98%. Around one third of the world's population is Christian. Cool. Good to know. Next up is nonists have, I don't know if that's nuns, like Catholic nuns, have plateaued globally in many contexts. Actually, I want to see, is that true? I'm not sure what that is. Oh, yeah, nuns. I never knew how you spell nuns. I thought it was like Nunes. It's NON. Okay. That's what the Google says. So I guess it's right. Anyway, moving on. The more you know, right? In many contexts, it may seem as if people are fleeing religion, but that's probably no longer the case in the US and is currently not the case globally. From the 1900s to 1970, worldwide population of the religiously unaffiliated jumped from 3 million to more than 700 million since that time. However, growth has slowed dramatically. Today, around 906 million individuals aren't part of a religion, a number currently growing by 0.19% annually. Projections indicate they will soon start declining, falling to 867 million by 2050. Yep, that is fun. Continue on. So atheism is declining. Awesome. And that's one thing that, when I fell upon this research study, it was very encouraging because I do know a couple atheists in in my small circle, and I would love to see them. Not just, it's not about conversion for me. It's when I encounter an atheism, typically it's because some Christian somewhere, someone that served God, messed up, and it caused them to hate God. And I know the God that I love, the God that I serve, is awesome and amazing and flawless. Sometimes we may not understand everything that's happening around, the reasons why someone may fall out of Christianity or may start to hate God. Maybe, certain things that they were going through that caused them to stop believing. It's sad to hear, but it's the truth for them. But it doesn't mean it's true for everybody. And so there are certain scenarios where people start believing lies and deceptions, and it causes them to just forget everything, entirely. The good with the bad, sort of the whole metaphor of throwing out the baby with the bathwater kind of thing. Because I've heard of even pastors and deacons and people that they're especially what's called PK, pastors kids, are sort of very well known to just leave the faith because they've seen everything that happens in the background with their parents, and how the church treats them, which is unfortunate. But anyway, let's read this, and we need to bring this back into the biggins because I can't read it when it's smaller there. Anyway, so while the numbers of religiously unaffiliated people have continued to grow slowly, global atheism peaked with bell bottoms and disco. In 1970, there were more than 161 million atheists, but that number fell to 137 million to 2000. A brief period of growth in the early 21 21st century brought the global atheist population up to almost 147 million in 2020. Today, however, that number has dwindled to 145 million, falling 2% or 0.2% annually. By 2050, atheism is projected to drop to 133 million. Ooh, was that 4? Yeah, 4 million coming to Christ. That's awesome. Let's go, God. All right, so number 4 on this list, evangelicals are among the fastest growing Christian groups. It's the power. Every group within Christianity is growing, but evangelicals are one of the fastest growing. Currently, 420 million evangelicals are growing at a 1.47% annual rate since 2000. I guess the year 2000. Evangelicalism has increased by 150 million. In the next 25 years, the number is projected to jump by 200 million to reach almost 621 million by 2050. The Pentecostal, charismatic Christianity, that's me, also continue to grow. While it is currently growing at a 1.25% annual rate, projections have its numbers exploding in coming decades. In 1900s, fewer than 1 million identified as Pentecostal Christians. I guess in the 1900s, by 20, because I forget when the Pentecostal movement happened. I think it was later. It wasn't at that 1900s. I think it's like between the 1900s, like I think it was like the 60s. I think between 50s and 60s. I don't know. But anyway, by 2050, that number will top to 1 billion. Number 5, Christianity is exploding in Africa and Asia. I think that's because of Reinhard Bonnke. May God rest his soul, but his ministry lives on. He had like million-person crusades, and then millions of people come to Christ. He was an evangelist in that area. He's from South Africa, and the Lord just had his heart explode for the country of Africa, and like the certain specific locations. But I just know he was a huge revivalist in that area for many years. So Christianity is exploding in Africa and Asia. Persecution is often severe in many areas in the global south, but Christianity is growing in every region. Currently, 2 in 3 Christians live in the global south. So let me open my comments. Ooh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Boom, boom. Cool. All right. Where was I? Global south. The faith is even increasing in the Middle East. Yes, I know this. I know I have a pastor that he has gone to certain locations in the Middle East to help train certain up and coming pastors in that area. It's really, really encouraging to hear that. Right now, more than 750 million Christians call Africa home, and this number is growing at a 2.59% annual rate. Almost as many Christians live in Africa as in Europe, Russia, and North America combined, which is 823 million. Asia has 416 million Christians, a number that is growing 1.6% each year. By 2050, Africa will be home to more than 1.2 billion Christians, and almost 600 million will live in Asia. Yeah. Very encouraging. I've even heard that there are African missionaries coming to America because they're hearing, the craziness, at least that was happening in America. And now I think some swamp creatures are getting kicked out, which is amazing to hear. And kicked out meaning like in the government. And it's really awesome to hear things are changing for the better for America. May God be praised. Anyway, moving on. So number 6, ministers are and missionaries continue to be called and sent. The number of national workers or citizens who serve the Christian mission in their context has reached almost 13.6 million people. That number has been growing to 0.91% annually. The total number is expected to reach 17 million by 2050. Like, wow. Oh, that's really good. So missionaries, uh, those who serve in a country foreign to them, are growing by 0.115%, 1.15%, and reached 450,000 in 2025. Around 600,000 are projected to be serving by 2050. Cool. This next one is really awesome because dying sucks, but they will have their reward in heaven. Um, yeah, I actually have a book that's called Jesus Freaks. It's by I think the band is called Jesus Freaks, but they have a book out. It's pertaining to the martyrs. It's a rough book to read. I still have it in my library. I don't think I finished reading it because it's just talking about the stories of the martyrs. Um, and a martyr is basically someone that dies for a cause. But in this case, it's pertaining to dying for for the love of Jesus, that they didn't say no to God even until death, which all the disciples and apostles paid that price. So we may be able to have, our Bible on our phone. Well, more so. So you have Christ in our hearts. um, hmm. Try not to cry. Anyway, so while persecution remains a significant, right here, um, while persecution remains a significant issue for Christians in many areas, the number of believers who are killed for their faith over a 10-year period has declined. In 1970, there were more than 3.7 million Christian martyrs over 10 years. That dropped to 1.6 million. Oh, wow. In 2000. It is now down to 900,000. Projections do, however, see that number increase slightly. Yeah, by 2050 to around 1 million. So 100,000 more. All right. So moving forward in 1900s, just 220, I guess 1900 era, just 228 groups had the New Testament in their language. Today, with a 2.07% annual rate of growth, around 2,500 languages have the New Testament, with a continued focus on language efforts, missions work, and psychological advances. Around 4,400 languages will have copies of the New Testament by 2050. Awesome. The percentage of people without gospel access is declining. Whew. In 1900s, more than half of the world's population, 54.3%, had no gospel access due to the work of missionaries of the past and present. That percentage has fallen to 27% and is currently dropping at an annual rate of negative 0.545%, about 0.5%. That's awesome. Cool. So, tell me your thoughts about all this. I mean, it's great to hear of all these changes of what the Lord has been doing in the world, and as we are growing as a faith movement, not a religion. I don't want to say I hate religion, but religion kills. Um, as you see in the Middle East, because they're the and unfortunately, radicalized religions, radicalized in the negative sense. Um, Oftentimes, certainly to the Crusades, kill in the name of God. Um, before Christ, that was, um, I don't know. I have my theology about that, but anyway, um, we're now in a time of grace. We're now in a time of, yes, there's still persecution, but uh, we're now in a time of give them your second cheek kind of situation. We're no longer in an eye for eye or tooth for tooth. We're no longer, if someone steals something from you, you give them more, which is really odd. Bless those that persecute you. Speak kindly to those that curse you out. Those are all new commandments that Jesus gave. And so love your brother, you know, is now the law, in Christianity, regardless of how you feel. Because if Jesus, unto death, he respected his creation, respected other people. The only time that he did anything to how do you say this, to as a comeback, not a comeback, retaliation. The only time he had any retaliation was when they filled the church with thieves and did a bunch of things that shouldn't be doing in church. It's supposed to be a house of prayer. He made a whip. Jesus made a whip and he started beating people. And so he was pretty he was fine with that. So I guess the only good time to come against people physically, I guess, it's when they're doing things they shouldn't be doing in the church. So I don't know. Maybe I should keep a whip in my back seat or something. I don't know. Next time I go to church, keep it in my Bible. I don't know. Anyway, let me stop ranting. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. Like, subscribe, follow, all those good things. If you want to see more of this, let me see if I could do something like that here. Oh, there's QR codes. Design. Well, I'm gonna figure out how we could do it like a lower thirds kind of thing later. But yeah, God bless you guys. Can I do an ad scene media? Hold on. I want to see if I can find this. Overlay. Oh, okay. Hold on. Oh, what the heck? Sorry. I did something wrong. I don't know what happened. Oh, there we go. Sorry. All right, so just going to a different site here. Please bear with me. All right. All right. So let me see what this does. Ooh. Video. All right. I'll just figure this out later. Sorry, guys. All right. Well, God bless you. Like, subscribe, all those things. And yeah, until next time, toodles.